Hello, guys. I was taking a moment to myself in a pretty hectic day, and there you go. I didn't actually hear um, the music, I suppose, that told me that you could see me. But, anyways, such a good feeling to be here with you and sharing this fine October evening with you. Well, it's evening for me. I don't know. I know that if you're in Australia, in Brisbane, and I know, Larissa, if you're on, it's morning for you, but for me it's evening, and I know for a lot of you it may be a different time of the day. If you're joining me from UK, thank you. I know it's crazy. And Germany, oh my goodness, hey Angie, so good to see you. Morning indeed it is. I was just thinking about you. I actually was just thinking about you. So happy to have you here. But I was, man, it was such a one after the other kind of day that I was like, today's Thursday. I need to be on my show. I need to be talking to the people I love and sharing my thoughts. And in that, I was thinking, what shall we talk about today? But like a lot of things that that we end up discussing and sharing thoughts on, I'm sharing my day with you, right? It was, and the lessons that always bubble to the top whenever the day is something that pushes me, that challenges me, where sometimes, I'm catching myself to give myself that breath that allows me to choose consciously what my next step is going to be. I try not to have a lot of days like that, but some days it just ends up being that there's a lot more packed stuff built into it. And even though today it wasn't so much a reactive day, it was a planned proactive day, but it was so back to back, and unfortunately it was full of the kind of stuff I don't really enjoy. And that is dealing with stuff I've been putting off because I know it's going to be a time suck. And a lot of it today was calling companies, and especially the kinds of companies that make me think, oh my goodness, there are gaps in this industry and in this marketplace, and there's so many opportunities for us to create such a different experience. And one of them, oh gosh, this company breaks my heart. Do you know what I mean? Companies that we love, we just love what they are building the brand around. And then, I don't know, maybe they get abducted by aliens, or they get sucked down a wormhole. Don't know what happens, but they literally do things that are so diametrically opposed to what that brand was representing once upon a time. This particular company is American Express. I loved their team. I loved how they stood for customer service. Like, there are a few companies that I would always associate with, oh my gosh, these guys are so cool. Just, when I thought customer service, I would think, like, I think of certain companies, right? When I think of taking care of your people, especially like making sure that your clients feel, and your customers, even if technically there is no fiduciary duty, the people that you are exchanging value with, they're giving you their money and their trust, those ones feel that you've got their back, right? Yes, that's how I used to think of them. Man, I've given them so much business. I've referred people to them. I've actually negotiated with merchants to kind of say, yeah, could you start accepting Amex, right? And sometimes the accounts that I was bringing on were big enough, and the people I was referring were like, in terms of numbers, the whole book of business was big enough that we could, start getting them to transact with a merchant they hadn't before. So I kid you not, I've given them so much business, but I've so fallen in love with American Express as a company, bit by bit by bit. And I'm kind of hanging on my fingernails a little bit. Like, that's what it feels like, because I'm like tenaciously just hanging on as they continue to push me away. But I have a feeling it's going to be an affair put to bed very soon, which breaks my heart to say. But when you feel that the company just does not care, how do you stay connected to them? Okay, that was such a deep rabbit hole, but I think it was worthwhile, because that one, it's a lesson, like a life lesson for business owners and humans in general. Do not do things that kill all the time, effort, and resources, including money, that you're poured into building an image just to kind of take sledgehammers and big massive machines and knock it down. Don't do it, because that just opens it up for another player. Like literally right now, as I'm talking to certain companies, especially those in the banking and credit industry, credit cards specifically, oh my God, the whole marketplace is ripe for somebody to come and own it. And I'm so tempted to figure out and add that to one of my things to go and rule, just so you can kind of show, hey guys, this is what you're missing. This is what people deserve, and this will make you richer than ever. Plus, it will make everybody who's transacting with you feel super good to be doing it in the first place. Okay, that was a ginormous rabbit hole. But the point was, I consider that those kind of calls so soul-sucking. And frankly speaking, all it was that I needed to call a couple of companies, credit card companies, to get them to send me replacement cards, because where I'm located right now, I needed them to send it here, not to the address they have on file. Anyway, that's what started that. Plus there were some other admin type things that I needed to arrange for my dad's care. Okay, and that's another rabbit hole I'm not gonna go down, but my goodness gracious, that's another industry that bears looking at. Don't get me started talking about roofing industry. Don't get me started talking about not okay, so I don't even know what to lump it as. It's a care worker industry, service worker industry. Hey Larissa, great to have you. Angie is here, you're here. I have Australia well represented today. But yeah, those are like people who actually help people, whether it's because of age or illness or just whatever the need may be, whether it's long-term, short-term, but that whole service and care industry. Yep, identifying opportunities there, just because this is part of life. You go through, and because you tend to, when you are experiencing something, whatever it is that you come and experience through your life, like it's hard to turn off that that mind that keeps saying, ooh, business opportunity, ooh, gap, okay, what can we do better, oh, is there an opportunity here, how would I do this, right? So in general, man, some of those just sucked up my time and I was dying as I was on those calls. But amongst those were also experiences and visits and meetings, especially an in-person one from, by the way, somebody from that same care and service industry that made me light up. And I thought, see, this is the beauty of human beings. This is how we get to show up, and this is how we get to see people, right? Even when people are not showing up amazingly, when we see the person, I think there's always opportunities that grow from there. But what I really wanted to talk about was today is, goodness gracious, just like I said, is it, because at the end of the day, I found myself snappy and impatient. I had to do my show notes. I had to think about what I wanted to talk about. I also needed to help somebody with something, and that was really time intensive. Like not time intensive, but it was crucial that it got done by a certain time. So as I was feeling behind the time, you know what I mean? It's an awful feeling like you're behind that 8 ball and that time is just running around and you are not catching up. You're still kind of away from it. I don't like that one. I just don't like that feeling. So that's when I usually try to create space around me so I can breathe, become aware of myself as a as as a human, right? In this body, in this experience, but tied to something way bigger than me, right? Tied to a source, a creator, a connection with my fellow human beings that's way bigger than the experience I'm having in that moment. Usually allows me to kind of feel expansive instead of contracted, allows me to bring in and flow creativity and creation around me, and energy, feeling energized, right? When you kind of feel contracted and ick and tired and fatigued and short and snappy and not quite how you want to show up as a human, that's when I like to just go, I need 5 minutes. I need 5 minutes, even if it's just to step outside so I can look at, it doesn't even matter. Could be a blade of grass, but something that's in front of me, and doesn't matter how big it is or how little it is, the beauty in its simplicity and the complexity and detail in its simplicity usually just allows me to step back and connect to who I am, which I love. But anyway, that's the space I was occupying. And I remember thinking, today was a tough day. And that's really, but it was not that today was a tough day. I got a lot done. It was just back to back. I didn't make time for myself to really properly eat. I didn't really get to some of the things that I wanted to. And I know that there are some things I'm going to need to look after even after I wrap up the show. But all in all, it wasn't a bad day. It was a packed day, but it wasn't a bad day. And when I got to thinking that, the words that came to me was somebody, actually, it literally was a sentence I had just heard. And it was like, is life beating you down? Right? And I'm like, is it really? Is it really life beating you down? Is your experience of whatever you're going through, is it really beating you down, or is it the thoughts that we, let me just talk about me. Sometimes the thoughts that I allow to enter my bubble and my experience and my mind and my consciousness, and then I get fixated and really invested in those thoughts. Is it my thoughts and the feelings and the experience and my reality that's really attached to all of that, sort of like a domino effect, right? Or is it truly life, whatever this bigger connection is, my circumstances, the experience from those circumstances, is it that's beating me down? And I had this discussion with my mom, actually, because she was really tired. Like these days, it gets sometimes a little stressful sometimes, right? And especially if you allow it to color how you're seeing the world, it can take over, right? So I was noticing that she was worried and she was stressed. And I was like, and she was stressed on my behalf, right? It wasn't even directly stuff that was affecting her. She was stressed on my behalf, and she was really sad for me because she's like, you're not getting to make time for, this is taking so much of your time, and this is taking so much of your energy, and this is, you I know you're staying up later and stuff like that. And then some experiences were like, you so don't deserve that, right? But it was all the things that I was like, but it's not coloring my experience. And yet, if I allow even the love that my mom feels for me, and the words and how she's experiencing it for me, to start entering my sphere and coloring how my lenses are perceiving it, it does change the reality of what I'm experiencing, right? So I was like, actually, I'm cool. I'm not letting that affect me. Even the harsh words that I'm hearing sometimes, even the, as she called it, the ingratitude. I was just like, it's not bothering me. And there was something else that came to, and she's like, oh, that's such, like, how could they possibly do that? That's a ripoff. That's cheating people. And I'm like, you know what? I don't believe anybody can really cheat me. Like, what are they going to take from me? Whatever it is that they think they might get from me, at the end of the day, it's the experience of what they are creating for themselves, as opposed to what anything they could impact me with, right? Even if it's monetary stuff, I can always create more. I just can't let that be, or I don't feel like it's anybody can really rip me off, right? If I don't, and I don't really believe that anybody can make me sad. I tend to, if I'm sad, I'm choosing whatever's happening around me to color my mood, my feelings, my thoughts, so that I am now choosing to be sad. And I know it sounds really simplistic, and I know sometimes there are bigger things that we really can't, we really cannot tend to keep this high level kind of thing, and we get sucked into it. That's human. That's okay. I don't think I need to make myself feel any particular way. If I'm sad, I'm sad. I'm learning that. I'm learning to accept that it's just thoughts. And I can choose to be okay and be aware of my thoughts, and realizing that I get to choose my experience. I do not believe that life can beat me down. I can let things beat me down, but I don't believe life is going to beat me down. Whenever even a day like today, when, gosh, I kid you not, like my brain just at the end of it was just like feeling super squishy, and just, it was like, okay, I'm a little tired puppy. And my Energizer Bunny spirit was a little contracted. But at the end of the day, the moment I realized and I became aware and conscious of what I was experiencing and what I was allowing to filter through to me, and how I was letting that affect how I was showing up and responding to people, and letting some breath in to create that space, it changed that experience. It changed it like that. Like, watch me. I am like bouncing. That's me right now. This is the tired little bunny rabbit running around upstairs going, I haven't eaten. Dude, I am ready to rock it right now. Like, after this show, I'm juiced up. I'm ready to go. Bring it on. I'm going to have some yummy food. I know there's some yummy stuff I've got waiting for me. Okay? So, but it was just that fast. And I'm like, oh, isn't that cool? Like, what is the, like, it, as I wrote, do our circumstances create our reality? Or is it a thought that we are letting color whatever we are seeing? And can we change that? How quickly can we change that? And when we truly allow life to flow through us, it flows through us regardless, right? It's flowing through us. But sometimes I allow myself to feel that flow. And the moment I feel that flow, oh man, the creativity that comes up, that allows me to have thoughts that I didn't even know I was privy to come up with like super exciting things I want to work on, and the things I want to create and bring into this world and exchange with people, because I'm like, oh my gosh, what is it that you need, and what is it that I'm getting so excited about bringing and seeing, hey, is this it? Can that help you? Can that help both of us? Can we all win? How cool is that, right? So I wanted to ask you, what does creating stuff in this world feel like to you? what does it feel like to you? Is it like something that is it something that you're tying in to a particular result, or a feeling, or some kind of thing that you think, okay, when I have that, that's when I will like feel happy or feel good or feel successful or feel powerful or whatever it is. But is there something you're tying that creativity to? And when you do create stuff, what does it feel like to you? I would love to know. I would love to know. What are you tying it to? What are you tying it to that may be holding you back? Is it possible? Because sometimes what we are thinking about, oh my gosh, if I do this and it fails, well then I can't do it, right? Or maybe I need to think this through more before I can go try it or test it, right? There's all these thoughts that go through our head all the time, whether we are consciously thinking about them and being aware of them or not, but there's always thoughts going through our head. And when they're going through our head, which ones are we paying attention to? What are we tying our creativity to? What are we taking that first step to? And how much awareness and consciousness are we bringing into it? So even though we may be thinking it, even though we may be tying stuff to it, when we shine the light of awareness on something, it changes the experience. It changes the feeling. It allows us to be aware of and be conscious of the thoughts behind it. And that's what I really wanted to talk to you about, because even just thinking about it, it got me so excited, because I'm like, I'm already feeling juiced up. Like, let's go create something. What are we going to bring in? What are some of the things that I'm stuck on? And it's like, seriously, when babies walk, right, when they're toddlers, or when they're trying to walk, when they're trying to sit up, it's the coolest thing, because they're not doing it to impress anybody. They're doing it because they want to get to whatever it is they want to get to. And if they fall, so be it. They are like, oh no, I'm so embarrassed. I'll never take that step again. They're not like, oh my God, I totally look like so lame in front of that, all these people. I'm never doing that again. Ever see a baby doing that? They like try to pick themselves up and they go plonk. It's the funniest thing. Adults may laugh or whatever, but they keep doing it. And I'm inviting you. I'm challenging you. I'm cajoling you. It doesn't even matter. Whatever fits you, take it. But I'm asking you to literally take that into your experience and test it out. Bring some awareness and consciousness into your experience of whatever you might be tying what you're going through to, right? And sometimes life throws stuff at you, which it always does, but sometimes it throws stuff at you with a lot more intensity, and just it's really committed to throwing stuff at you, right? There's some days, there's some weeks, there's some months, and God help me, sometimes there are years that feel like, man, gotta just come up for air. But is it really life beating you down? Is it really? I'm asking you to adopt that childlike wonder and just taking that step, no matter how silly you might look. I mean, I don't know. I don't see kids really worrying about it. Bring that in, that wonder, that curiosity, that exploration, that ability to take that step into your life, into your business, into just whatever it is you want to go explore. Connect to that feeling of life flowing through you no matter what. And see what that feels like, whether that changes the filter a little bit, whether that allows you to change the experience, because now you're aware of and putting some light on those thoughts that may be sucking some of your energy down. Because, man, you guys, like, you are so cool. I've had talks with you guys, and I know the beauty of what flows through you. I know some of the stuff you go through and you take on, and I see the growth that comes afterwards. Oh man, I can't forget to tell you this, okay? This person I was talking to you about earlier, that from that same care industry, he actually said to me, he said, sometimes when things are really hard, that's exactly where you need to be, because that's what you're developing through to handle, like, whatever it is that next step in your life is. And I like that. I like that. Okay, let me see what you guys are sharing, because that's some of my favorite parts to look at. Thank you. Here is me crawling up from the energy pit that I was in, and then now ready to rock it because the thought changed, right? And Matt, infinite things in the universe over a very long time occurred to give us a chance to be here. Yep. It's that's a beautiful, beautiful thought. Yes. We are not accidents. I do not believe we're accidents. And flip it, if we are accidents, that's one heck of a happy set of accidents that I'm so privileged to know. And we can't allow bad thoughts to cause us to have a bad day. Yeah, it's still, okay, jinx, still happens though. But what do you do with it, right? What do you do with it? Sometimes you don't even have to do anything with it, but be aware of it, right? And see where it takes you. Angie, you like that analogy about the babies? Babies are some of my favorite humans to learn lessons from, right? Larissa, I can't wait to hear your thoughts on this too, because I can literally just see where you go with this, but I'm curious to see where you go with this. So yeah, if you do catch the replay, I'd love to hear more of that. But thank you for sharing these moments with me so we could talk about some of this. And as I said, I'm challenging you, I'm cajoling you, I'm imploring you, I'm inviting you to take some of the experiences that you're having, whether they're heavy, whether they're light, whether they're fun, whatever they are, but feeling that flow of life through you, and maybe connecting it with the creativity that's innate in you. Just giving yourself that space to let the two connect and see what you can bring into your experience, into your reality, and through your beautiful ability to create, what can you bring into this world to exchange with the people that you interact with? This has been so fun hanging around here with you. So have an amazing rest of the day, evening, and I can't wait to see you here next Thursday at 8:30 Eastern Time. That would be 7:30 Central, 5:30 Pacific, and Brisbane, that would be Friday at 10:30 a.m. I'm getting the hang of this. If you feel that this brought some fun thoughts into your experience today and you think there is somebody else to share it with, do that, please. And hit like or subscribe just so you know when I'm going live, and then we can share some more fun thoughts and time with each other. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your time. Mwah!